Senator Markey.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. Mr. President, as you well know, in their blind pursuit of profit, Amazon has perfected a punishing quota system that pushes workers to and beyond their physical limits. They use dystopian surveillance technology to monitor workers' every move. They set requirements for how many packages workers have to move per hour without telling workers what those requirements are. They pit workers against each other in a race against an invisible clock. Then they fire workers who fail to win their impossible game. These high-tech quota systems are shrouded in secrecy and enforced punitively, creating a culture of fear that leads workers to break their own backs to try to keep their paycheck, make rent, put food on the table, or to fill a prescription. We know that corporate bosses will never police corporate greed, and that's why I, alongside the Teamsters and Senator Hawley and labor unions and workers around the country, are championing a bold, bipartisan, bicameral Warehouse Worker Protection Act. That Warehouse Worker Protection Act would ban the most dangerous quotas that plague warehouses. It would require transparency for workers and for those companies that refuse to comply. This bill allows the Department of Labor to hold companies to accountability with investigations and substantial penalties. In short, the Warehouse Worker Protection Act says that injuries are not just the cost of doing business. The cost of doing business in this country is guaranteeing worker safety, worker dignity. Mr. O'Brien, what are you seeing in Amazon warehouses related to speed, quotas, technology, and health and safety and their impact on workers?
Well, first and foremost, I applaud the bipartisan effort to try and make sure that our warehouse workers, whether they're unionized or non-unionized, are able to attain productivity standards, achieve health in the workplace. What do I see at Amazon? And I stated this earlier, I see 150% turnover ratio because the quotas, which are not transparent and equally implemented across the board, is promoting a workforce that is recycling continuously. There's no continuity of the workforce. They've got the highest injury rates, highest violations at OSHA. And, you know, I think it's important to recognize, not just at Amazon, but in the warehouse industry as a whole, we got to not forget probably the most difficult times this country ever faced was during COVID. And during COVID, I represent many, many workers who work in the warehouse industry, who work with total disregard, who are deemed essential, just like the Amazon workers, like the UPS workers, and like many other grocery warehouse workers that were deemed essential workers. And they went to work every single day, and they went to work, provided goods and services to this country with total disregard for the health and safety of themselves and their families. So we can't neglect the fact that these are essential workers that need to be protected, not just during COVID, but beyond COVID. And I think it's important to recognize that we have a company that does the same exact work under contract, United Parcel Service and DHL. And through a collective bargaining agreement, we sit down, negotiate terms and conditions, we negotiate safety, we negotiate productivity standards. And if you look at the comparison to a unionized workforce that does the same work as Amazon, as UPS, you will see that when there is not transparency in any industry, especially productivity standards, there's going to be high turnover, higher injury rates, and not consistency of the workforce.
So thank you, Mr. President. My father was a union leader. He lost a finger in a warehouse when he was a young man, before OSHA. He used to use another finger to describe that company in terms of their disregard for his safety. But that's what's happening now with AI. The very humanity of these workers now is being lost. And we have to make sure that it gets protected. And thank you, and the Teamsters, Mr. President, for your work on it. And Mr. Cochran, the warehouse industry is leading the pack on supercharged injury rates and work speed quotas, but corporate greed doesn't discriminate. Auto industry bosses also forsake workers' dignity just to pad their own pockets. What are you and your co-workers experiencing in Chattanooga?
So thank you for the question. As far as dignity in the workplace, we actually asked them to sign a thing saying they would every worker we have dignity and all this stuff. They refuse to bargain with us on that, refuse to even sign the memorandum of understanding about that. One of the things we struggle with mostly is about bathroom breaks. So we have 10 minutes to use the bathroom every 2 hours. Not everybody has to go to the bathroom at the same time. People need to go maybe between those times. It's very, very seldom they get relieved from the line to go do this. We had an incident where actually one of our members actually relieved themselves while on the production line. And then they were actually refused to go clean up. You have to wait till your break time, wait till your lunch or whatever it is. It's an extreme case, but year after year, we've talked to Volkswagen about this very topic, and it's still a topic of concern while we're going through bargaining. They shouldn't be allowed to come to our country and just break our labor laws and treat our people the way they do. It's unfair to the workers.
Thank you for what the UAW is doing. Thank you for what the Teamsters are doing. Thank you for the union movement. Thank you. Mr. Chairman.